Hi, so I just wanted to do another short video, but this time talk a bit about my journey. And, you know, when you think about who we are as people, we have to think about more than just people, humans. Who are we? How did we get here? Or, what happened? And we all have different beliefs in all of those facets, whether it's a religious belief or a more spiritual guidance, cosmos belief. But I guess my journey started with death, as many children who experience death quite young probably do have those same experiences where you start questioning who you are, what's happened, why, where have they gone, things like that. And I had two very close together when I was 15, and they were very meaningful, and I didn't cope at all. And it took me about 15 years to actually deal with what had happened. And it was probably actually around that time when I started my spiritual journey. So it's just really interesting. I've been looking back a lot today on journals and things like that and seeing what I'd written. And it's very interesting. Some of the dreams I've had. I had a dream, pretty much a little girl that looks like Lily and my daughter. I've had many dreams around DNA changing and Cain popping up in dreams, very lucid dreams. My grandpa used to come into a lot of dreams. But when I think about my reality and my attraction, I only attracted what I wanted into my reality, and at that time I just wanted negativity. And it got worse and worse and worse, and I took antidepressants, and that's fine. They were good at the time, but I wouldn't take them again. They balanced me when I needed them to, but I felt like they were blocking parts that I needed. But you know what I needed most of all was to heal from those traumas, to talk about what had happened, to feel like I could get past it, and I could. And it was something that I was able to get past. And I still now have anxiety around certain things, but I'm definitely working through them more and more. And I believe, through tons of research, my degree and just being an energy healer, that we carry these things with us, and then we're not really able to, heal them, or we're not ready to. And there's no doubt that unless you're ready to actually get past these things, you're not going to. I mean, I relapsed as an alcoholic so many times, and it wasn't until I got pregnant that I actually stopped smoking and stopped drinking and got my life on track. So, until I was 28, I was a mess. I was depressed and anxious, and becoming a vegan has completely changed my life. I've actually stopped drinking. I don't eat processed sugar. I'm really careful about what I eat. And I'm not one of these vegans who eats a lot of fried foods. I'm very serious about, lots of fruit, lots of veggies, nuts, and just lots of good food. But that was a spiritual reason, doing an obstacle meditation and very brutal meditation. But you basically obliterate what the biggest issue in your life is. And that for me was emotional eating. And it's taken me on this amazing journey. I started seeing a kinesiologist and working through these things, and now I've lost a fair bit of weight. Yep, it's hard, working through any trauma. You go to counselling, see psychologists, anything. It's all hard. None of it's easy. But when you start to unravel and unwind, you actually do feel like you're getting a weight off your shoulders. And I think, as I said in the last video, it is really important to remember that so many of these things are not us. They might be parents or family or extended family or friends or being bullied. And yes, we often attract things into our life. If you know about the law of attraction, we do attract things into our life. But we need to forgive ourselves for those things. And, when it comes to being anxious and, that's not a natural state. We don't have to feel depressed. We don't have to feel anxious. And I do deem myself as a survivor in that way, because there's no doubt that I wanted to commit suicide 4 or 5 times in my 20s. And probably the only thing that really stopped me was I felt like there's something I need to do here. And I'd seen it. And I'd seen the destruction of the family and how much it hurts people around. And, experiencing 2 suicides in 2010 and 2011, that was when I started really wanting to ramp up to heal myself. And I was a mess. I was an emotional mess. And, when I look at my journey over the last 4 months, purely an accelerated journey, I've lost so much emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental weight. And I feel more in control, more able to just be me. It's really interesting because before I became vegan, I thought that I had all these gluten intolerances. I'd have a lot of issues with bread and other things, pastas, things like that. And since becoming vegan, I have no issues with gluten. And other things that used to bloat, make me sick, fatigued. Nothing, I have no issues at all. And I definitely wake up easier, I go to sleep easier. I'm really aware of chemicals and what's around me. And, I drink a lot of lemon water, and I'm just really there, like in the head. And I wasn't before, especially when I drank. And, I only stopped drinking to deal with emotional issues my last drink was 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, not that long ago, but I feel like it's been a long time, and I feel like I don't need that anymore. When I have issues, I've been doing a lot of tonal sound therapy. It's really been helping. So, I just think, I think it's really important for us to start to shift our awareness to forgiveness of self and forgiveness of those around us. And it is really hard. It's been an interesting process for me over many levels. Forgiveness of, self is something that hurts and becomes physical pain. We manifest it to physical pain really, really easily as well. And it's really important to know that, be aware of that. Once you're aware of something, you're ready to heal it. That's the other thing as well. So if you're aware that you've got, all these stacked up emotional issues and trauma, you're actually quite aware that it's there and you are actually ready to let it go. So that's something to be really aware of as well. Sorry. I just think we should be more loving to ourselves, and as I said in the last video, we do, as children, we experience this non-understanding of emotions and how to regulate them, and even in some of the best families we can have issues regulating emotions. So it is really important to, I think now it's about children. It's about these beautiful crystallized children and bringing them through into these amazing times and teaching them about emotions and meditation and how to calm and how to be and how to just love the earth and be a part of, you know, everybody and just be a really kind, respectful person. And that's one thing that I aim with my daughter at the moment, is to, if I get upset, it's an apology to her. We apologize to each other every time. I say, I'm really sorry I got upset, and she says, I'm sorry, mummy. And, you know, we talk about that, because it's okay to be upset. It's okay to get a little angry every now and then and be impatient, but it is really important to apologize and say sorry. And I think that's something that my mum always did, and it's something that I always do with my daughter, because I think it is really important. Yeah, not much point to this, but I just wanted to have a bit of a talk about, you know, getting past some of these traumas and how to be aware of what is going on. And, you know, when I became vegan, I felt like I was shedding, and, you know, people will roll their eyes at this. They will say this crazy, but trauma.